Hey everybody, welcome back to another UNFF Dart Tag League new blaster video, new blaster league video. Whoa. We were just here just a few days ago, and once again we've got some new blasters to talk about. This time it was shared on Facebook to me by Make Test Battle. Not me personally, they just shared it to everyone in Nerf groups, which I'm part of. But it was originally leaked by geek.com, who actually got their hands on these blasters and were able to test them and play with them, and we're kind of excited to see what they got. So I figured I'd go ahead and make a new video for you guys and share what we've got today. So the two blasters that we got are the Scravenger and the Evader. The Scravenger's on top. It's the Zombie Strike Slingfire reshell, if you're familiar with this old Zombie Strike Slingfire. And then down the bottom on the clear one is the Evader. So we'll go ahead and start with the Scravenger. If you go to geek.com, they actually have this article as one of their top stories, so you should be able to go right there right now and see it right away. And they have a pretty good breakdown of the blaster itself and what it comes with. But to save you some time, if you don't want to check it out, we'll go ahead and do that here. So we've got the basic Slingfire blaster, but it also comes with a secondary blaster, which is that double dart jolt, which is kind of cool. I own the Triad myself. I actually don't own any jolts, but everybody loves them, and this could be a fun kind of middle ground between the two, and it's kind of unique to this particular blaster. So you pick it up, you've got that blaster, people will know where you got it. They say you can still do all the tricks with the Slingfire, so pushing it out, flipping it around to load and to fire. The interesting thing about this, though, is it supposedly has some sort of a select fire position where you can lock the trigger down, and so every time you pull the lever action priming back up, it fires, which is kind of nice. We kind of had to learn how to do that tricky wise with the Slingfire, where you prime it forward, pull it back, and hit the trigger as fast as you can. You kind of had to practice a few times to get it. With this one, apparently you can lock the trigger down, so every time you pump it, it fires automatically, which is kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds kind of interesting to me. The blaster itself is going to be costing $50, which is kind of a lot. It's a whole lot of plastic that I'm not sure I'll actually use, but let's go ahead and break it down to its individual components. So we've got the base blaster here with one of the 12-round mags that come with it. It's actually very cut down, so if you have a particular stock attachment that you like, you can actually attach it. It's got a regular N-Strike stock attachment point, which is cool. It also has a barrel attachment point, which some people might like. I know I really like the Tri-Strike Mega Front Blaster because it allows me to run two different types of ammo for particular games. If there's like a particular zombie in HVZ that has to only be killed by megas, I can attach it onto the front there, and I've got a dual purpose blaster, the darts to take out regular zombies and the mega darts to take out the uber zombies. So that's kind of fun. I don't mind it at all. Otherwise, the blaster's pretty stock as far as a base blaster goes. You got the attachment points and all that stuff. The real selling point of this blaster is definitely the attachments. If we go in here, the blaster does come with two 12-round mags, and they're very unique. And so if you're into the different 12-round or 10-round mags, like the ones that came with the Desolator from the Doomlands line, if you really like those cool magazines, this is kind of nice because you get two of them. Most of the time they only come with one. So getting two kind of cool mags is always a nice thing to have, because you never need just one, right? You need more than one mag. It does have the barrel extension, that white barrel extension in front of it. It's got some holes in it, which aesthetically looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy this blaster. This looks like a fun blaster to use, like the Slingfire. Not always super reliable, doesn't shoot very well. It's usually subpar than the N-Strike lines, than the N-Strike Elite, but still a fun blaster to use. And you're gonna use it for close combat or for some HVZ stuff where you're not worried about other people tagging you from a distance. You can just run up to some sort of a melee attacker and be fine. It has the double dart jolt, which is right there. Now, the mag holder that we saw in the original picture of this thing, I'll just overlay that really quick here. The extra magazine is attached to the blaster, and it does that by attaching itself via a scope. So the scope and mag holder are integrated together. So whether or not it'll work with other blasters effectively, we don't know. Depending on the width of the blaster you're trying to put it on, I don't think it'll ever work on the Demolisher. The Demolisher is just a super wide blaster, and I don't think that this mag holder is going to work with it. But I'm assuming that most other blasters it'll actually function pretty well with. It does have a tactical light, and then the stock attachment. The stock attachment, it doesn't hold any darts or magazines or anything like that, which I'm kind of bummed about. I like my stock attachments to actually have a function. The Stockade blaster, because I rent Nerf guns for business, the Stockade blaster, it's amazing how often it'll be attached with its exact stock attachment that it came with that holds the 10 darts in it. People just naturally know that those two go together because they're like, hey, look, a blaster that shoots 10 rounds that I've got to reload with individual darts, not a magazine. Oh, look, an attachment that holds darts. I mean, I think every blaster that can take any blaster that can hold a stock attachment should hold extra mags or extra ammo for you. That's just my personal opinion. If they all did that, then the world would be happy, and I don't know what I would complain about anymore, right? Anyway, now this next blaster, the Evader, it's a completely transparent body and barrel attachment, which is so cool. It's such a neat idea. I always liked the N-Strike Clear series, the Sonic series, the Fire series. I've gotten a couple of blasters from each of those series, but usually they're kind of gimmicky and they don't always have the best blasters in those versions. Now this, however, is like a modified Strife. So you can see it a little bit better in this next picture. All right, so it's got a side magwell, which is awesome. I've wanted a side magwell battery operated blaster forever because I have two of the old 35 round magazines that came with the Raiders way back in the day, in the N-Strike days. And while they are really cool and hold a ton of ammo, they kind of struggle with blasters that load from the bottom. But when blasters load from the side, like when they came out with the Rampage, the 35 rounder works almost flawlessly. And so I'm super excited for finally a battery operated blaster that can that has a side magwell, so I can finally get my 35 rounders out of storage and use them in a game. I don't do a lot of modifications on my magazines. I use what I've got. So I'm also kind of intrigued to see if this thing will work with the Worker 22 round mags, because I've got a couple of those floating around in my collection, and I would love to see how it looks having a 22 round stick out the side of that thing. It does come with a 12 round mag by itself, which I'm super excited about. And as you can see, this thing actually has an extra button on it than most flywheel blasters. So you have the rev trigger underneath the main trigger, and then you've got the mag well, which houses the mag release button, and then there's a front one, and that's so that it can do this. It's got built-in glowing mechanism. So that front trigger actually operates a series of lights, LED lights inside it that glow green when you pull the trigger. So that's super awesome. I just like it. It just sounds fun. Now this blaster again is going to retail for $40. So it's like twice as much as what the original Strife went for. If you want the aesthetic, if you want the LEDs in there, you got to go for this blaster. If you are just getting this blaster because you want to use it functionally, awesome, get the blaster. If you run a business and you rent these things and you know that they're just going to run through the batteries with the lights and all that stuff, then you might want to wait for it to go on sale. But I think that applies mainly to only me. Will I pick one up at full price just to try it out and make sure that it works? Absolutely. It's one of those things that's a business expense that I just have to do. It's a sacrifice, but I'll do it. Now another quick note. Blasters tend to jam no matter what. Every blaster jams at one point or another. Now, as running a business, I actually don't use any Springer powered mag fed blasters. And that's because people can jam 2 or 3 or 4 darts into the barrel without firing them before they come to me and say, hey, my blaster doesn't work. With the flywheel ones, you get one dart stuck in the flywheels, that second dart will never go through. It can't jam up like the Springer blasters do. So I tend to gravitate toward the flywheel blasters, and I'll guarantee you that clear blaster is going to be the first one used at every battle because it just looks so cool. The fact that it glows is just amazing, and that it still only takes the 4 AA's is a huge selling point for me because I already have AA's. It's a very common size. These blasters that take C or D size batteries or the custom Nerf batteries are kind of a hard thing to deal with. So, hey Nerf, way to go. Good job on getting a blaster that looks really cool and that gives us some really good options as far as using what we already have and giving us something new and exciting to look forward to. So, well, thank you very much for sticking around. I hope you had a great time. I hope this video was short enough for you. If you have any questions, comments, rude remarks, leave them down below. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications whenever we upload another video. I'm hoping this is more of a weekly thing. It's not always going to be new Nerf news because Nerf only comes out with blasters every 6 months or so. So it'll be hit and miss depending on new blaster information, but we're hoping that soon we're going to have our first interview with some people locally here in Utah with the Utah Nerf Foam Flingers, and we can give you some information on kind of how we got started and where we came from. And you can learn more about us on Facebook at UNFF. And you can check me out there sometimes. But mostly, I run my business battles on utah.com. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, fling on.